my life? Where's my beautiful home? Where's the life? Where's the life I've known? I'm a big man now with big problems. Had to sell my house, take all my things off to Florida. Off to Florida. It's where all those nuts roll off. Oh, oh, yeah, if you lost your soul in Florida, the only snow goes up your nose in Florida. My old man calls me up somewhere in Florida. He said, son, things aren't so sunny down here. Oh, they took my car and all my things. I even sold your mom's old ring here in Florida. Yeah. Down in Florida. It's where all those nuts roll off. Yeah, they got the crack hose in Florida. The only snow goes up that nose in Florida. Can't make no money here in Florida. Florida, you suck. It ain't so sunny here in Florida. Florida just sucks. And I'm so down broke in Florida. Smoking generic smokes in Florida. Yeah, I can't afford my coke in Florida. Well, the episode of Cops are taped down in Florida. And Ted Bundy set up shop down in Florida. They had those terrorist flight schools in Florida. Most of your child kidnapping fools, they moved to Florida. Florida, you suck. Florida just sucks. Except if you're redneck alcoholic in your pickup truck. You're gonna hang out with me. We go to Walmart and get our weed for free.
And welcome to episode 7, Lucky 7 of Guitar Tales. My name is Dave Cohen. We're thrilled to be here. This is a wonderful project that has started maybe 2.5, 3 months ago. We're going strong. I have to have a list right here because this is how long the list of people lining up to do the show are. In the pre-show warm-up, I think we lined up 3 more guests. First of all, thanks to Riverview Studios. You know, the last time we talked, I talked about the facilities, and hopefully we can show a few of the shots from inside the building. The studios are beautiful. We sit on the banks of the Delaware River. I talk about that every time we're on the air. It's gorgeous here, but more importantly than that are the folks who work here. Fantastic, dedicated, talented people behind the cameras, behind the soundboard, the director of the show. This is a 3-camera shoot. It's sophisticated, it's wonderful. If you have any filming needs at all, if you need to tape a commercial, a corporate promotional video, anything, it's fabulous here. Come and take a look. You could tour the facility, but more importantly than the facility, meet the people here. It's absolutely fabulous. This is our Lucky 7 episode. we are trucking along so well right now that I need notes to talk about who's lined up. And special thanks to Scott Guitarmist Engel, because everyone on this list is from Scott with my crappy handwriting. All right, we have Dave Crum of Big Bang Baby coming up. We have Randy Ellis. That's not from Scott. That's from Mary, Mary Bradley. Randy Ellis, if you've ever come down to Bordentown, he runs Randy Now's Man Cave. And our guest tonight, Charles Jacobson, is watching tonight. He and I met Randy about a year ago. He's fabulous. He's met all the celebrities. He'll be coming in and talking about guitar players from the vantage point of someone who has booked them. So that should be a really interesting show. We have James McGill of Lifespeed coming in, courtesy of Scott Guitarmist Engel. And we have Chris Cologne. He's got two things going for him, really three. He's in a band that is known as Beatlemania Now, and he's in another band that does all originals. But here's the other thing. He's been on HGTV. His house was featured on HGTV. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. Maybe we'll get some clips in on that. And then in August, I've talked about it before, Todd Yasui, executive producer of the Emmy Award-nominated Red Table, will be coming in talking about his musical history. He has met everybody and has worked with everyone in the musical genres. I've flown out to LA and I've seen many wonderful guests on the show when he used to executive produce many shows, and then he was a producer for The Tonight Show. Another thing to talk about before we get to our guest, this is brand new. We have our new Guitar Tales t-shirt here. Thanks to Mary for that. Absolutely fabulous, but even more important than the front is the back. And here's the back, Riverview Studios. Sitting with me is our lucky 7 guest, who is going to be absolutely fantastic. How do I know that? I know that because I listened to him. And he's got a fabulous, those are the papers I was supposed to keep. But Brian,
cool, man.
Brian Mackey is our guest. I'll welcome you, then I'm going to talk about you a little bit. So we're going to introduce you on camera, but let's get a close-up. This is the first ever wearing by any human being anywhere. You're flexing, aren't you?
Yeah, I have to. I mean,
You're kind of doing the rock kind of thing.
your name just got even bigger.
That's very well. You're actually succeeding. You're actually pulling it off.
I can do it.
You're doing that.
I'm not good at many things, but that's on the list. Of
That's
3.
working. That's
Yeah.
working. So strangely, I'm underneath your, yeah. So Brian Mackey is fantastic. I know this for a couple of reasons. One, because I did a deep dive onto YouTube watching many of his videos. And 2, because as you will see as you started watching the show, he gave us 2 live performances tonight that were fabulous. He is a Lakewood born and then all over the world performer. He has a single coming out early August.
Yes.
And what's the name of the single?
Promise Me.
He is a classic, wonderful songwriter. I loved so many different things that I saw on YouTube.
Thank you, man.
And I, so our third guest on the show was Nixon's Head, and I got literally emotional when I listened to one of their songs.
Yeah.
I listened to your song Florida, which I know the way our show is formatted, so people have just seen it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, man.
I know that someone can look at that song and say, "Oh, you're being kind of silly." It spoke to me. It spoke.
Wow.
There's a dark period.
Yeah.
And you were speaking to something that was personal.
You get it. Wow.
Oh my God,
That's cool, man.
No, it was a beautiful song, and it was filled with angst, and you're mad, but in a healthy way. Like,
You nailed it, man.
bad shit went down
Wow.
in your life.
Wow. And some people don't get that. They're
Yeah.
thinking it's like a funny thing.
Yeah.
But you got it, man.
No,
That's cool.
it's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
And so you're our first guest who's your classic sort of Jim Croce styled, guitarist, songwriter. I mean, we've had other songwriters and they're wonderful, but that's your thing. And you've got, you've played in Nashville.
Yeah.
You've got that going on. And we'll talk a lot about the fact that you were in Europe. But you're a new genre for us, and I think it's really cool.
Oh, it's cool. I'm really glad to be here. It's a great show, and the studio's amazing, and I got the shirt. I got to hang out with you. And
You're the first. This is the Lucky 7 show.
it's awesome, man.
And you brought some friends with you. We'll
Yeah.
talk about your friends in a little bit. But when we start every show, there is a game we play.
Yes.
And my role,
I came prepared.
I know you did. And the nice thing is you know enough to know not to tell me what you know.
I'm not going to say anything until I'm asked.
All right, here. I like that. So the name of the show is, or the game is 6 Degrees of John Bon Jovi. My friend Jay Vaughn from Kentucky called it 6 Degrees of Bon Jovi. That's not correct. There's not enough syllables in it. It's 6 Degrees of John Bon Jovi.
Yes.
You have come prepared. We know the game. How do we get you there?
Well, I was playing in a little pub in Edison, New Jersey.
I know it well.
And it was Richie's Sports Bar across from the Ford plant.
Okay.
And there'd be like a lot of...
27 or Route 1?
Yeah, right off of 27.
Okay.
And then there's like a pizzeria there. I don't even know if it's there anymore.
Well, Joe Loria's music shop is there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. So I was in there and I was playing for the lunch crowd, and there was maybe like 15 people in there. And one person was clapping, but really he wasn't. He was just packing his cigarettes, So it was just like...
Oh, wait, let's go back to that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's like, like doing whatever you...
Yeah, because we were...
That was the worst pantomime in the history of pantomimes. I literally just did this.
Yeah, well...
That's pretty bad. All right.
It depends on whose company you're in.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I'm thinking that I had no problem with that.
Right.
So I was thinking that, people were excited, but we were loud, we were obnoxious, we weren't good.
Okay, now what band were you with?
Restless Drive. It was horrible.
It's a good name, though.
Yeah, it was not good.
Okay.
So we were in there, and one guy, like I said, wasn't clapping.
Yeah.
And then here comes David Bryan. So he's there, and I'm playing a piano synthesizer on my guitar because I'm being experimental, because I think I'm like the guy from Radiohead.
All right, now what kind of guitar do you have to do that?
It's a Japanese Telecaster.
Okay, and then
85.
what is it going through?
Roland.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do,
The
I
Roland
do.
MIDI system.
Yes.
I have
yeah.
it all modified.
With that crazy plug with all the little things on it.
I modified it to do that. Well, I didn't, but my bass player did, because he's a total pot-smoking nerd and just never leaves the house, answers the door in his underwear, that type of thing. So,
who doesn't, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, for like the pizza guy. So we were just playing, and then David Bryan says to me, he goes, man, that's a really convincing piano sound. He goes, he couldn't believe how it tracked.
Right,
You know what I mean? And I met him.
Oh, that's very cool. So
Yeah.
you go from him, as we joke, he's probably met John.
Yeah, I think he met him a time or two.
Yeah. So that just brings you from him
Because he's
to
the
John.
keyboard player. He goes on the tour with him.
So here's the question for you. So we had Charles Larita on the last episode.
Yeah.
So he met Richie Sambora, whom clearly would have met John. Does this make you tied for first place?
Well, he's still on tour with him.
Ah, so we have a tie.
You know what I mean?
We really have a tie. So you're one step removed if we play by those rules. I don't think we include you. So you met somebody who's one step removed from John
I
Bon
did
Jovi.
pee in Geraldo Rivera's fountain, and he was living next door to John at the time. Because I was at a party and drunk.
Love the story.
Yeah.
It doesn't really advance the ball for the
Yeah.
game, but I do love the story.
I didn't pee in his yard, but in his
That
fountain.
would have gotten you there. All right. So now, as I said before,
Sorry, Geraldo.
Yeah.
I don't like your stash.
Well played. There is only one person on the planet Earth who can beat you and who could beat Charles Larita at 6 Degrees of John Bon Jovi, and you know who you are. You are about 40 miles away in Rumson, probably right now. You go right down 195, and we could chat. So
He'll be on the show soon, I think.
I hope so, because you said it, if for no other reason.
Strange things have happened in my life. I'm like a Forrest Gump type guy.
I like that. All right, now, I want to chat about you.
Sure.
You've got two beautiful guitars with you. So our rule here, which is actually a non-rule, just pick them up anytime you want.
Sure.
To chat. You could do it now, you could do it later. We're not amping up because you've got a Takamine here, which is wonderful. I got to test drive them beforehand. They're wonderful.
You like the neck on that one, right?
I love the neck on that.
Yeah.
But your Martin is a nice loud guitar. So anytime you want, just pick them up as we're chatting.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about your musical journey because, we're having fun here. We're being light, kind of little quips here and there.
Yeah.
But your songs are really coming from deeply emotional, personal places.
They are.
Let's talk about Florida.
Yeah, Florida was a song I wrote for my dad.
For your dad or about your dad?
For my dad, because
Okay.
he was going through a hard time in his life. He uprooted us, and I think my boat's here. But yeah, he uprooted us, and we went down to Florida, and we were just really poor.
Okay.
We were just lived on a farm, and
Your parents, are they divorced?
My father passed away a couple years ago.
Okay, I'm
But I
sorry.
reconciled with him before he passed. And
Okay.
it was just really a hard time for us. And we just lived in a town that was like maybe 30 people.
Wow.
Yeah, really small. It was almost,
you're
almost
in-
like a commune.
I think you told me in the beginning. I don't think we were on the air. You were in the Panhandle area.
Yeah, Havana.
Okay.
Not many people are always like, oh, that's Cuba, right? And I'm like, no, it's worse.
It's the Redneck Riviera, as they call
Florida,
it.
yeah.
And it's beautiful, though, right? They have the beautiful sand beaches.
Yeah, down to Panama City. We lived in the woods. We had
Really?
gators that were in our yard when the river overflowed, and rattlesnakes and all that stuff.
Right. So then you're dealing with. You don't get the ocean breezes. You're just getting the hot, sticky weather.
Alligator farts, man. There was nothing cold. There was nothing breezy.
So this was a hard existence for you.
It was pretty rough, yeah, and it was just really like, isolationist.
So what's interesting is that you're doing something I do. You've got these deep emotions that you're dealing with, and you try to use wit, almost like a cover, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I do that too. And so this song, and what I like about it, I notice when you sing, you kind of look up, and I think you're taking yourself to the emotional place that you were in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that song, there's honest, organic anger that I heard in that song.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way to channel emotions, I mean,
So-
I've been to a lot of psychiatrists and stuff, and, to try to deal with past stuff.
But I bet the art, the music, your expression, does that help as much as that helps or no?
Sometimes more,
Right.
I mean, one psychiatrist I went to, we ended up talking about his car the whole time on how to fix his battery or something because he didn't think there was anything wrong with me.
And maybe there isn't.
Yeah.
Like maybe you found the right outlet.
Or maybe he was just bad because there's obviously something wrong.
That could be another answer, right?
Yeah.
Right, maybe he was just a shitty psychiatrist.
Yeah, there's something wrong with me, definitely.
Right,
But
right.
no, I mean, you go through stages, right? I
Right.
think everybody does. It's a process, I think. You have your ebb and flow, like you're doing well, you feel okay, you don't really need people as much as you used to. And then you get I get these moments where I need.
Right, just a little something.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this question. So, like, if I were to look at the arc of, let's talk about some 60, 70-year-old people who are our heroes,
Yeah.
right? Musically speaking. I don't know. I always like to talk about Pete Townsend. Has he written anything good that, at least that we know about, since the mid '80s? No.
I don't think so.
No. So, do you think that there has to be some kind of tumult in your life or in your heart? Maybe not even objectively, but something in your heart that to create the art that's at least going to be sort of
Yeah.
relatable and
Yeah.
meaningful.
I think that's a good question. I think there has to be, I mean, you can make a rainbow with a garden hose if you hold it in the sun right.
Yeah,
You
but
know
it's
what
not
I
a real.
But the most
yeah.
organic rainbows come from
storm.
the storm.
Oh, that's
right?
I love that metaphor. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
So so this Florida song, you really took like a deeply personal,
Yeah.
bad time in your life, and there's that anger. It's almost like fuck you, Florida.
Yeah.
And now, when you play, I know from before the show, you said you've played in Florida, and I would imagine if I were in Florida, I would get the song. If I were in Florida as a Florida resident, I would say, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
He doesn't really care about the state.
No, it's not the people, really.
It's not the people. It's not the geographic.
Well, it's some of the people. But what I'm saying is, like,
Yeah.
there seems to be, like, Florida is almost like this state where pirates go to.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like they couldn't make it somewhere else, so I'm sorry I'm saying it.
Well, no, it's like you've got.
But they all go there with problems.
Key West and Cape May.
Exactly. Did you
Yeah.
ever really walk around Cape May or Key West?
Both.
Right?
Yeah. They're literally pirates went to both.
Yeah.
And New Jersey is sort of a microcosm
Yeah.
of the country, because if you look at the geography of Cape May, it sort of shoots down. It's below the Mason-Dixon
It's almost
line.
like a mini Florida. It's a
Yeah.
panhandle right,
Right,
there.
right,
Cape
right.
May County, all that.
right, and it goes down and it's surrounded by water, sort of on both sides. And then the Keys, pirates literally went there.
They did.
literally went there.
Yeah.
So right, so Florida, people when people think of Florida, if you think of Miami, it culturally has nothing to do with where you grew up.
No. Where I grew up was kind of devoid of anything cultural. It was kind of like the opposite of culture.
Right, and then strangely, it gave you inspiration to write meaningful music.
Strange, right?
Yeah.
How sometimes in the darkness we develop the best pictures, I think. I mean, we just
There's another good metaphor. I like
Wow,
that.
oh my God, I better stop.
Yeah.
No, I think sometimes we do because we have this time to marinate. We have these time to like, sometimes I like to do things, my writing process is like, I don't like to do anything for a while. I just like sit around, watch TV, you know what I mean? And just not think and then pick up my guitar.
Right. So like, have there been, who was it? I think it was Dim who was on the show. One of our guests, it was either Dim or Charles, went 2 years without writing a single song. And I apologize, I forget which one.
I think that's totally doable.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Because you're not writing, well, let me ask instead of.
I write every day.
Okay, you do?
I do. I have to. If I don't, I write on the piano a lot.
Okay.
And the guitar is just more portable.
Right. And it's. I heard you say as we were in between breaks, you have a guitar every 5 feet in your house.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could always pick up a guitar wherever you are. But so that's interesting. So you will try to write, and let me ask you this: will you be writing music? Will you be writing lyrics, or both every day?
Sometimes music, sometimes both.
Now, when you write, let's start with lyrics. Might you have like a book of poetry that may or may not be connected to a riff?
No.
So you're writing them together every time?
Usually, yeah.
Right,
or I dream
Let's start with Mr. Is it Mr. or Ms. Takamine?
Oh, Takamine. Yeah, this would be a lady, I think.
Okay.
Kind of has curves like a lady, I think.
She's nice and light.
She's light.
Yeah. So you're going to. This is really, I guess, something we haven't talked about before in our show. You're a classic songwriter. So when you're picking up a guitar, if you're thinking of a riff, you're also thinking of lyrics. If you're thinking of lyrics, you're also thinking of a riff, because at the end of the day, you're saying a song has to come out of this sit down, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, or sometimes from a situation, like I could be on a tour bus and the motor blows, like it did in England.
Right.
And we had a bunch of like people on board, and we were late to our last show in Manchester. Excuse me. And it was just really a tough time. No sound check, just the line check when you get up there.
Okay.
And I wrote a song right after that because there was the stress of it.
Right.
You know, sometimes I work better when there's stress around.
Well, I always talk about, I always come to Townsend. Everything comes back to Townsend for me, but guitar and pen.
Great guitar player.
He wrote a song about having trouble writing songs.
Really?
Yeah, that's, if you ever listen on Who Are You, the album Who Are You, Guitar and Pen.
Oh, okay.
He talks about, I don't know what to write. Everything's been done before. I'll write about my guitar and my pen.
That's right.
And
now I'm thinking about the lyrics, yeah.
And it's a great song, but that's when he's like, all right, I got nothing here, I got nothing here, I got nothing here. I'll write about the creative process. And it's almost grasping at straws.
Yeah.
But it worked.
But it's great because it's good for a song. I mean, you want something ideally that hasn't been done before.
Right. And he wrote about the fact that it's all been done before,
yeah.
but yet it hadn't been done before in that way.
Yeah.
So for you, I've never met anyone who always goes in there and say, I'm going to marry my words and my music together. So physically speaking, is it a scrap paper? Is there a bound journalish kind of thing?
I don't write it down.
You don't?
I record it on my phone, or sometimes if my phone is full, I'll call my answer machine in my house and sing into it, yeah.
Now, do you ever wake up at like 3 in the morning?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and then, now here's one of the things I wanted to ask you going into today. So, there's only, short of having incredibly challenging, unreachable chord progressions, right? There's only so many, so to speak. Or at least one might feel there's only so many. How do you contend with that to keep it fresh? Both songs I heard from you today and everything I heard on my little YouTube journey, it was all fresh. But how do you approach the guitar?
That's a good question. I'm not really a great guitar player, but I do come up with stymie chords that stymie people.
Let's see if...
Like stuff like this.
I've heard a few from...
They're like looking at them and they're trying to think...
Yeah, that's a little dissonant, right?
Yeah, they're trying to think what the pattern is and why you do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? What else could be another one?
Now, the other thing I noticed you do, which I really enjoyed, is you take advantage of space.
I love space.
Yeah.
Space is important.
It is. You'll have really protracted a beat. Right now he's going to play again.
Yeah.
Like I noticed in both songs, and you're creating sound without sound.
Sometimes, really, it's so true. It's not what you play, it's what you don't play.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse, sorry drummers, that just blow through everything and hit cymbals and can bash where you don't need to.
Right.
The great drummers, in my opinion, are like Elton John's drummer, Billy Joel's drummer.
Billy Joel's, I've noticed. I've never yeah.
If you
I
listen,
can picture him in my head.
Yeah,
he's got the ponytail in
Yeah.
the back, the pulled back hair. Yeah.
right, but from the spatial quality,
Yeah.
like how they gave the singer space to sing,
Yeah.
is very important.
You make use of that with your singing. You make use of that with your guitar playing. You take a lot of extended beats, and you just and there's this sort of pause. And sometimes when you come back on the guitar, you're barely touching it. I noticed.
Wow, you're observant, man.
Well,
Yeah, this is stuff I do subconsciously, but now that you point it out, yeah.
Well, we talked on one of the shows. I'm not much of a guitar player, but I noticed the other day when I'm playing, my
play?
thumb is muting a little bit.
Show me.
And whoop, yeah,
That's
so
all
much for
right.
that guitar. But
Takamine.
yeah, it's only a tuck. But I'll wrap my thumb around a little bit if I'm playing a chord just to mute the E.
Yeah, I do that. You're grabby.
Yeah.
I do that.
And the E is muted. I didn't even know I was doing it.
Yeah, it's natural inclination.
Right. So you're making an incredible use. Oh, what is? No, we're not talking about this pick. You know what? I'm going to create a segue right now.
Look at that.
You are an endorser of picks. And
Yes.
I was about to hand you a horrible pick. We're getting rid of this pick because
Nasty pick.
it's a horrible
It's
pick.
been really going against my grain the whole time we were talking.
Bad karma from that pick.
Yeah.
This is a Brian Mackey pick, and this is Pick World.
Well, because it has my name on it, it cheapens it a bit. But
Okay.
I think it's a quality pick, though.
Oh, I failed it. Wait, here's the camera.
Feel
Here
it?
we go. So am I right? It's Pick World?
Pick World, and I believe they're out of Delaware.
Yeah, I tried it. It's a fabulous pick. It's got nice marbling here.
It's well made.
Yeah, it really was. It was very nice. And you are an official endorser
I
of
am.
Pick World.
Pick World.
Based in Delaware, I think we
Delaware.
talked about. Yep. Okay.
Probably that smoke you see going over the bridge, they're burning picks. That's probably what it is.
They're burning the bad picks.
Yeah.
Right. But to come back to this, you're creating these beautiful spaces, and we both did the same thing. We got silly when we were talking about something serious.
Yeah, yeah.
But you create. Oh, there you go. But you create.
Keep it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But you create space both on the guitar and in your vocals, and it's very calculated in a really nice way. I noticed
you,
that.
man.
And when you will have a moment of pause, I notice you're not coming back and slamming your guitar necessarily. You're coming back and you're just giving it a little
nuance.
Yeah, but that's really cool. And to come back to my original question, you know, A, E, E, D, you know. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So how are you?
Well, capo.
Okay.
Capo's a big saver. Like,
I saw you brought one, right?
yeah, you can get a million different things. Like, I could play this progression, right?
Let's see.
I could go. Right, and then if I come down, like, say here, right?
Okay.
It's like,
And yeah, it's an extra finger, really. It's an extra forefinger. Right.
you know what I mean? It just brightens it up.
Right.
Not as somber. And really, it's great for a guy that really can't play. I mean, it's like,
I mean, you play well. You play well.
I play okay, I'm adequate, but I come up with stuff that I don't really try to be different, but I guess in a way I do.
Well, if you're doing
subconsciously.
like the dissonant chords here and there, I saw you were doing some you're just hitting.
double octaves.
That's it. Right.
Yep.
Right. And it's creating interest. We talked a lot, I think with Steve Bello, about the edge.
Yeah.
And no, I take that back. Charles Loretta and I were talking about it. I forget.
Yeah.
But, you know, half his songs are 2 chords.
I know.
And then Bono, I thought about you also coming in. So your responsibility is similar to Bono's in that he's creating these wonderful melodies that sort of wrap their way around
Right.
2 or 3 chord songs.
That's interesting, yeah.
And I'm not saying that your songs are necessarily 2 or 3 chords.
No.
But you're not going into some crazy pyrotechnics on guitar.
Not going crazy.
Right. So you're creating
Less to think about.
right, and you're creating sort of musical progressions that are supportable,
Yes.
and they allow you to vocally.
That's so true, man. That's a great analysis of it. Because
I enjoyed it. I mean, like.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So you're in your songwriting process. You're going to go in there. You're going to think of some lyrics. And now, do you ever have times when you're happy? Let's say you wake up, you're happy. You've had a good cup of coffee in the morning. Your personal life is good.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do I write about now?
Well,
And why? Why do you have to write every day?
all right. Well, there was a guy. He was painting the house next door, and it's 6:30 a.m. and he has like a rock station on, and he's
Okay.
doing AC/DC.
Okay.
And it's like, I love AC/DC, it's cool, but at 6:30 in the morning, I felt like taking the radio out with my BB gun.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just was like, dude, are you?
6:30. Right.
Yeah, it's like Mr. Connor across the street's been up with a cough, and he's like 70. I'm like,
Is
show
there
us-
really a Mr. Connor?
Yeah, I'm like, show us some
So you just dissed Mr. Connor on our show?
No, I was sticking up for him.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Connor's 70. You should be.
So you're supporting Mr. Connor?
Yeah, I don't want to hear Thunderstruck, dude, at 6:30. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah. By the way, Rabbit Trail, I just found an acoustic version
Of Thunderstruck?
of Thunderstruck on YouTube.
Play it. Do you know the chords?
Nor would I try. No, I couldn't even go near that. You had a guy on, I think he might have had a washboard. It was like a bluegrass group.
That's awesome.
Pure acoustic.
So that's brown grass. If you're going to do that, that's brown grass.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, it's a little dirtier.
It had a banjo, acoustic guitar, and they nailed. You know what? I'm going to put it. I will put this on Guitar Tales.
I wanna
It's
see
that
it.
good. It's on my Musi app.
Awesome.
So it's fantastic.
I'm going
but
to check it out.
It's that good.
that's
I'll
cool.
post it.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But so you wait. All right. So you wake up at 6:30
Yeah,
for Mr. Connor.
I hear Thunderstruck, Mr. Connor's coughing. And
How do you hear Mr. Connor?
Because he's louder than Thunderstruck.
So maybe they should be protected from Mr. Connor.
And that's true, but he is 70 and he wears an ascot. I mean, this guy, you know, he thinks he's like James Lipton from Inside the Actor Studio. I feel bad for him.
I know of.
Yeah, it's like he stares at me like he's staring into the camera.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what to do, but I went back and I wrote a little song on the piano about that.
All right, can you do it on guitar? Is that, or am I asking something that's not doable?
Let me try.
Oh, you got it there, right?
Okay.
That was a key change. It was emotional.
Well, coffee's on the table, breakfast on there too. Mr. Connor's coughing, and the painter will be too. Yeah,
That's a great song.
yeah, and I was trying with the melody, and it's better on piano. But I'm just.
Now, is that an official? Like, did you finish it? It's done.
Yeah, it's done, but I don't want to do it here. It's kind of, it's bad. See, not every song's good.
But it was catchy and it was kind of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was coughing, and I felt really bad for
Does he
him.
know about this song?
No, he does now. He'll watch it on.
Because
probably
God
on
knows Mr. Connor is going to be watching this.
He does. He follows me on Facebook, and my manager's shaking her head because she knows the story to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She needs a shout out. Give her a shout out.
Beth Slocum, my manager extraordinaire. She babysitter, puts up with me. But yeah, he follows me on Facebook. I do the Stage It thing. It's like a worldwide internet thing on the computer.
The World Wide Web.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that crazy thing.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And he was like, oh, I had a hard time tuning in like that. And I was like,
Tuning in.
Yeah, and I was
Then
like,
you know you're in trouble.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, you have to dial it up, Mr. Connor. You got to make sure you fine tune it next time.
Oh, that's fine.
I got to get him a ticket.
But so he truly doesn't know that there's a song written about him.
No, not yet, because I didn't formally like play it for him. But
Have
I
you
will.
recorded it anywhere yet, or have you performed it out?
No, this is just this morning.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let me come back to this. So every day that you feel this compulsion, so I want to know, where did it come from that you need to write do you write a song every day, or just write every day?
It was either that or I go over there and confront them about playing the music.
No, forget that. Forget that.
Yeah.
So every day of your life, you're going to write a song, or at least work on a song.
I try to.
Why?
I don't know. It's either that or I do something stupid.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, it's like my son plays sports, so at least he's not, doing something bad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind
But
of
do you
like
think that's part of it?
It could be, yeah, because my initial compulsion was to go over there and just be like, hey, asshole, like, look what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And your speakers pointed right at my window.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
But what if it's like a mellow morning? Everything's fine. So I said coffee. You immediately thought of Mr. Connor. You thought of Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
And you get this vibe. What if it's
A peaceful morning?
3 days ago? How was your morning 3 days ago?
3 days ago.
Or maybe let's forget about your dementia.
I don't think
2 days ago.
I
2
don't
days
think
ago.
I was really too pissed off at anybody that day.
All right,
so.
3 days ago. So did you write that morning?
Yeah, I wrote I worked on, like, I do these classical pieces for, like, TV and film,
Right.
like, for Lifetime.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all right.
Like, I do soundtrack stuff. So, like, I was doing something like that.
All right. So not every bit of writing is, to use a real, people might get a spec house, right?
Yeah.
Right. So not every song
Like
is
Carmela Soprano. Remember
Yeah,
that episode? She
I
had a
do.
spec house.
Yeah, and everything went sour because of the builder and Tony
Remember
and all
that?
I do. So you're not always writing a spec song. You're working on real.
Yes.
Not that it's not real, but all right. So that was a nice organic segue. I want to talk a little bit about how three-dimensional your career is.
Yeah.
All right. I want to save for a minute. I know that you've toured Europe and you've been all over the world touring. So how did you get involved with scoring for TV and I think film also, right?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I was a carpenter, and I was building a mikveh, which is like a Hasidic thing for religious baths.
Right.
So I was building.
You are from Lakewood.
Yeah, so I was building the mikvahs for them, and I was on the job. I was running late, and I also submitted a song a week before that to a company that pitched a song to Disney, and I was really broke. And I got a text that my song got accepted, and I took my girlfriend out to dinner that night because she always paid, and it's like I had money finally.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's there's a song that I'm thinking. Oh, Bruce Springsteen,
Really?
Rosalita.
Really?
Yeah, Rosalita. The record company just gave me a big advance.
Oh yeah,
Takes
this
her
wasn't
out.
big though.
But it's conceptually similar.
Wow, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you feel?
I felt good. I
Right.
felt really good, and I felt like it was validation. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then after that, I started gaining more exposure to catalogs, music catalogs.
So what is all? So this is terminology I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, like, okay, so there's like Travel Channel. They have their own catalog or their own licensing company they use.
So I guess what you're talking about. So if I'm going to not mindlessly, but mindlessly watch Travel Channel, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to think about the show. I'll think about the content. What I'm not thinking about, but what is impacting upon my experience, is the music in the background.
Yeah, I mean,
All
it
right.
definitely lends itself to emotional.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're scoring platforms that I might, someone like me, and I play a little guitar. I don't even think about that, but there are things that I'm
Yeah.
watching every day that get scored,
Yeah,
and they need people to score them.
it's a whole other world, man.
Wow. So how did you get connected with that world?
Um,
Because I'll cut you off, but so here you're playing guitar, you're writing songs, you're playing with shitty bands in Edison.
Yeah.
And then suddenly,
really shitty bands.
but you moved quite far from there. So
Oh, I mean, I wasn't good either.
all right, and that's
Yeah.
right. But what was it? What was the sort of the networking, the business connection that took you from doing that to scoring?
Yeah, so I made some friends in Nashville.
Well, let's get you to Nashville.
Yeah,
How
that's-
do you get from Edison to Nashville?
Yeah, so it's funny, like, I played a song in Red Bank, the one that got licensed, and
We could do 4 hours now. Now I want to stop you here. What song got licensed, and how did that happen?
It's called Paint It Red, and
All right.
it was like somebody in the audience was listening,
Okay.
and they worked for a licensing company, and was like, wow, I like that song. And I was like,
Give us a few
you want me to play
bars.
it?
Of course.
Loving you. Yeah, I'm good at that. Loving you isn't just an act, but everything's painted red. Let me be the last face in your head.
That's a great song.
Yeah, so it was that, and then there's some more to it, but they heard it, and after that, they stuck around and was like, wow, do you have an agent? Like, what are you doing? And there's 3 people here.
Did you
I'm
have an
on.
agent?
No.
So now, what was the context? Were you in a band? Was it you solo on guitar?
I was done with bands. I was done with,
Did you
like,
migrate from rock to being more?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like a huge, like, Metallica fan, and, like, I like hard music.
Right.
And that's what I play when I'm at home, and I aim it towards the window. I was going to do that when they were doing the AC/DC,
Throw that
but it was
right.
Mr. Connor. Yeah.
Right.
So I like that kind of music, but I don't really perform that kind of music because it's not something that speaks to me.
On a personal level.
Yeah, like letting
Right.
it off my chest. I wouldn't sing that. No.
I can't stand Metallica.
No, I
don't like them at all, and I think they're great. I
like the guitar
personally,
players. Like
they're
Kirk
great.
Hammett,
I just don't like them.
Yeah.
But they're great.
Yeah.
It's like Bob Dylan. He's great, and I don't like.
It won't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Bob Dylan is just he's amazing. Like if you really, I wrote a song that was inspired by Dylan.
Okay.
It was like.
Well, I stepped out on the road. There was a cold wind on me.
That is Bob Dylan.
And
Yeah.
I was
makes
like,
sense.
I wrote that after I watched a special on PBS.
Well, what's the song that Guns N' Roses covered from him?
Oh, that was Knocking on Heaven's Door.
My law school band
Yeah.
did a rocked out version of Knocking on Heaven's Door about a year before Guns N' Roses did.
Isn't that something, man?
And
You had The Cure before The Cure.
We did. Scott and I were in a band called The Cure before The Cure existed. And Trenton-based Tim Boney played an amazing lead.
Wow.
The same thing that Slash did before he did.
Seriously?
Yeah, somewhere there's a tape of it. I wasn't good enough, so I had to play bass on it. Not that bass isn't good, but I did a very basic
Bass
bass
holds
on
it down, man.
What does that mean?
Holds it down with the drummer.
Yeah,
You're
not with me on bass, but
No.
yes. Yeah. No, it was just like, all right, Dave, you can't do this. Just do your best over there. All right, so shockingly, I haven't lost track of our narrative here.
Yeah.
So you're spotted in Red Bank.
Yep.
Where were you in Red Bank? Count Basie or?
No, it was a small internet cafe,
Okay.
and
all
I
right.
was there, and
So that you get spotted, the guy or the woman stays afterwards and says, "Hey, I like that song."
yeah, and then I go in his car, and I know it sounds weird. I go in his car after that, and he's putting
You woke up like 3 days later.
with my pants
Your
down.
your organs were cut out. And,
Yeah. So there was like a CD player. So he put a CD in of stuff that he licensed, and he goes, "I can make your song sound like this." And
Oh, in other words, saying I have access to good studios,
yeah.
good
So
studio
he
musicians.
flew me down to Nashville, and then
Wow. So this is incredible.
Yeah.
So you go from wherever you were at, and I don't want to demean where you were at. Then you were good enough to be playing in a cafe and creating beautiful music and meaningful music. But this is huge.
It's weird. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. It's like a Forrest Gump moment.
Right. That's what I'm
it's
thinking.
like I have a lot of those.
So someone thought enough of you to say, I'm going to spend $500 on a plane ticket. I'm going to put you up in a hotel for a while. I'm going to take you to our nice studio.
Yeah.
Were you at any famous studios or?
Yeah, actually, the band Switchfoot,
No.
Amy Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the studio that they recorded.
Oh
at.
wow.
Yeah.
What's the super famous one in Nashville that we've all heard of?
Well, there's Ronnie's place. There's I recorded there. The Ronnie
Really?
Millsap's place.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a bunch of them. I'm actually going down to write with Jeff King, who's Reba McEntire's guitar player.
Really?
I'm doing a show at the Bluebird on the 11th of August.
And that is an iconic place.
Yeah.
We talked about Scott has played at the Stone Pony, which is iconic East Coast.
Yeah.
But Bluebird, I mean that's a big deal. That's
It's
like
weird.
Grand Ole Opry level, right?
Yeah, it's a weird place to play because like that show Nashville,
Right.
it's on there, and I had no idea because I don't watch Nashville.
Right.
But one time I was playing there, a bus pulled up, and this is like 5 o'clock at night, and I'm doing sound check, and they let all these people off, and they're waiting in the hot sun.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, they're here to see me, and they're like, no, buddy, that's from the show Nashville. I was like, oh, cool. It was like first time.
So you
but-
connected, and I've listened to a lot of. You ever listen to Volume on Sirius?
Yeah.
Great station.
Yeah.
They'll get it's a whole different vibe when
Yeah.
songwriting for folks who either affiliate with or live in Nashville. It's not like you'll hear a Steven Tyler interview and he'll say, well, I was out and about and in 10 minutes I wrote this song, and you talk to and it's great.
Yeah.
But then you talk to the Nashville people, like, well, I have a catalog of 857 songs, and I
Absolutely.
work, I collaborate with these 72 songwriters, and every single day we write. It's everything about Nashville is about songwriting.
Yes.
And
It's a songwriter's town.
right. So, and that sounds like a competitive but also nurturing environment at the same time.
It really is. I mean, I went fishing in, I don't know, Big or Rich's Pond or something. It
Like
was,
from Big and Rich.
yeah, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were drunk.
With them.
No, they were sleeping. And
But
they,
you were somehow. Why were you there? What brought you there?
the people that I recorded with were friends with them,
Okay.
and we decided to go fishing after drinking. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
and I think I lost my shoes, and then, or they got thrown in the water, and then all of a sudden
We
saw,
know they got thrown in the water,
they
by the way.
probably did. So then we saw the lights come on, and
That's the way you addressed the camera after I said it. Like, yeah, Dave got me on that.
yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
So we saw the back porch lights go on, and it was like 500 yards away. It was a really big yard, right?
Right.
And he goes, "Man, you want to keep it down out there? My baby's trying to sleep." And,
And it's
then,
one of
and
those-
then the lights came off. He didn't tell us to leave. He just told us to keep it down.
Was it one of those guys?
Yeah, because I saw like this shadow and this mullet shadow.
I don't know them well, but that ride a horse, cowboy,
Yeah.
save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was his house. I'm sorry. I didn't mean the mullet thing, but I'm pretty sure you were sporting a mullet. And it was just, it was weird.
Right. But that's a great story.
Yeah.
So you get connected with this Nashville scene,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it just seems wonderfully crazy to me that you're playing.
It's fun.
Red Bank is a musical town.
Yeah, yeah.
I lament the loss of all of our guitar shops because they're all gone. Guitar.
That's where I bought
Traders
this.
gone. Oh, which one?
I think
Red
it was-
Bank Music or Guitar Trader
I think it was,
or Jack's?
was it Monmouth Music or Red Bank Music?
There was Red Bank Music.
I think I bought this at Red Bank. Not this one, that one.
Okay.
I bought this one on the internet.
Right. You told me that
The
before.
World
show.
Wide Web.
The World Wide
Bought this on.
Internet, as we call it.
Yes.
Right. Where you could actually, yeah. But so you get transported from just a nice local Jersey scene. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal.
It was fun because it, you know, I lived with rednecks in, not that Nash people are rednecks, but I lived with rednecks in Florida. So it kind of spoke to me, but in a good way because
Right.
the food was good. I like that food.
Right.
You know,
No, you got. I mean, I'm a big Memphis fan.
love the
It's my favorite.
barbecue, yeah.
Yeah. Dry. I like dry over wet barbecue.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you end up in Nashville. So you must have networked.
I
Or why are
did.
you're looking at Beth. You nervous?
No, because she knows some of these stories. Like,
You're like, all right, don't tell that. Don't tell that. Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
She just knows some of these stories. Like, are like pretty wild. Like, I don't know.
Give us a PG-13.
All right, I'll give you one. Well, this is just a weird story. Like, I was working with a producer, and I was staying at his house, and he lived in this old church with his father, and his father was like this huge producer. And I was working with the son because the father was way too expensive to work with, and the son was like, "Yeah, buddy, I'll give you a deal," and we just became friends, right?
Okay.
So I go this is like 10 o'clock at night, and I go in the kitchen to get a drink. He's like, "Go get a beer." So I'm like getting a beer. And then on the refrigerator, like my eyes are going into focus, and I see Bono on his hearth. Like I look over and see that's his hearth over there. And then I see Mel Gibson, and there's pointing at a screen that's in the living room. And they had a private showing of the Passion of the Christ.
Oh, Mel
in his
Gibson's
house,
right.
in
Yeah.
his house, and like Bono was hanging out with them, and
I
I'm like,
can't imagine Bono and Mel Gibson in the same room.
it was actually a separate time, and then
Okay.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then it was just really weird because I'm like pointing at it, and he goes, "Yeah, that's them." And then it's just very matter of fact, you know.
Right.
Down
So
in
you're-
Nashville, it's just
So this is surreal for you, I would think.
yeah,
Now, when and how did it become normal? Or if it did?
yeah. It's kind of no. I mean, there's always like moments like they up the ante, like when you meet certain people. But I think what I've learned to realize is that we're all just broken people in a lot of ways. Like
If you're writing good music, you, by definition, you arguably are.
yeah, there's just like people that you think really have their shit together
Right.
are the ones that really, really don't.
That's why they write their good music.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll even like Elton John is
Yeah.
wonderful, but I think he's happy now. I
Oh yeah,
don't know that he's written anything good in 30 years.
no, but he's
Yeah.
really
He's one of my favorites.
me too.
But I think on some level, once you become happy, I think it negatively impacts upon your art.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, it doesn't kill it, and you could do other things. I mean, you hear all these, you know, whether it's an actor or well, that sounded pretentious, an actor, right? Yeah, an actor. I'm James Lipton now. But if you're an actor, you're a musician, you're an artist, you know, they'll just sort of retreat. It's like, I like to paint now.
yeah.
You know,
Paint.
yeah. You know, But I think what happens is that when people truly are happy and they're content and their life gets into a good place, the stronger works that they're going to create won't come out anymore, and that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
So let's hope you stay unhappy for a long time.
Well, that's funny because I went to my doctor. I went to the general practitioner and I asked him, for an antidepressant.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, why do you want to do that? You're a songwriter."
That's pretty funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I'm suffering, And he's
Right.
But I'm better now, I think.
But there's, like you said, half hour ago, there's ups and there's downs.
Yeah.
So you're writing every day. So I misunderstood the process when I first asked you the question.
Okay.
So I want to come back to it a
Sure.
little bit. So are you writing, to use our little term we came up with today, spec songs every day, or is it more like the spec song is going to be written when something occurs in your life that inspires it?
Well, I try to be the most authentic first.
Okay.
And then if there's something that needs to be tracked for something else, I kind of do that after.
So that makes sense. So
Yeah.
like I'm a lawyer and I might think of creative marketing for my law firm.
Yeah.
But then there's always there are things to do that need my attention. So you always have projects,
Yeah.
whether it's scoring or something else,
Yeah.
that need your time. So every day you're working, but not every day are you creating something where nothing previously existed in that realm.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like there's
Right.
some strong pro bono work that I do.
Which is?
Like just like I don't know if I can say it on here. I got accepted into that Musicians on Call.
Okay.
You know what that is?
No.
Where the musicians go into the hospitals for
Oh,
the
that's
cancer
fantastic.
kids, and like it's a process though. You have to be vetted, and I think I made it through a couple rounds, believe it or not.
But that's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's like I like that stuff,
Now, when you go in there, are you creating music for that, or you'll take stuff out of your catalog?
No, like they give you an approved list.
Oh,
Because it can't be
really?
anything really depressing.
All right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I just don't want to do that to them.
Right. So you're gonna so it's either you're covering.
I never
other
do
things.
covers, but for that I will.
Right. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I want to segue a little bit here. So, not only do you get pulled into Nashville, not only do you start networking, people are like, oh, this guy can write, he has good talent. And by the way, I really mean this. You have a great voice.
Thank you.
I mean that. You network, and the next thing you know, and I don't know if I'm getting the sequence right, you're going from Red Bank to Europe.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, Europe was a progression. I wrote this song, Are You Listening? I don't know if you heard that one. Look at your eyes. They're exactly the same as last time. Your arms, they're wrapped around me so tight. Are you listening? Are you listening? So I did that one.
And when and where did you write that? Were you connected with Nashville yet? And by the way, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I think I did. I think on my YouTube trip, I think I heard that one, and it's a great song.
That one I wrote for my girlfriend's father, who was staying with us. We were living in a little shack, like 250 square foot garage, me and my
Really?
girlfriend. And her father got kicked out of his house when he was dying with cancer.
Oh my God.
So he was sleeping in the next room, and that was my song. I was trying to make a song from her to him.
Wow. And did he appreciate it? Did it work?
He never got to hear it. He passed away. But that's the song that catapulted everything, because they used it in a Sony PlayStation thing.
Oh, really?
In a violent thing. It was in Germany.
Really?
Yeah, it was just totally contrast, but wow, strange.
Well, when we were talking with Charles, I always like to connect all the shows.
Yeah.
And I asked Charles, I loved Rule the World. One of his songs, fabulous. And I asked him what it's about. He wouldn't tell me. He said, I want my listener to cull whatever they can get out of it, and I don't want my interpretation.
Yeah.
So like that song, now we know that's a deeply personal song.
Yeah.
And then in Europe, or not Europe, someone playing a video game might say, this really inspires me to kill pretend people.
I'll send you the link. It's bizarre. And then one person made a fan video of a guy with a mask on, and he's getting a gun put to his head.
Really?
Yeah, so it was like just really strange visual stuff on that, but that's the song that charted over in Germany, and then from there they booked me a tour, and then I've been over there I think 4 times.
Now you realize you know who your famous company is for that, right? The Hoff.
Oh God, yes.
But
He's got a cool car, man.
he does have a cool car.
Yeah.
But so that's interesting. So I read this that you're top 25 on Apple's playlist in Germany. So what do you think the connection is?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think it was just I think it was the song, you know. I mean, sometimes you have a song that speaks to people and you don't really know why.
And you know, unlike this country, in Europe, people actually speak more than one language.
They do.
So
Amazingly well.
right. So it's not just a function of they like the melody and the chord progression.
Right.
They're going to understand. They're going to hear the lyrics.
And they're going to resonate.
right.
It's really
Now, that's I just heard a few bars right now. That's a really powerful song.
Thank you.
And by the way, I noticed you put yourself down on guitar. One of the things you did on there looked like it probably was kind of tough. You know what I'm talking
The
about?
trill, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say that, because that did not look simple.
Then you go, nobody knows, nobody knows, no one knows.
That's not the part I was thinking of.
No?
There was something where you did you did a little bit of hammering. There was three notes in rapid succession.
Wait.
That's it. So when you're playing live, is that effortless at this point?
Yeah, because it's just something that just comes. You know,
Right.
it's like I'm there, and it's like an old friend. It's like, yeah, we're gonna put it there.
So when you're playing acoustic guitar like that, when there's such note economy, I just came up with that.
Yeah.
But there is.
I economize on the notes.
Yeah, but every note is that important, and you can't. We talked before, like I'll come back to Charles' last episode. He uses very few special effects, if any. This even more so. You can't hide behind any kind of sound.
No, I don't do that.
And every note matters. So as you're playing it live, do you worry that you're going to get? I would call the other thing a trill also. Do you get worried or nervous?
No, I mean, sometimes I get more worried vocally.
Okay.
Because this is always going to be here.
Right.
You know what I mean? But sometimes if you get up too early, like I did the Good Day New York show with
did you really?
Rosanna and Greg, I think his name is. And
Scarborough, isn't that Scarborough?
Yeah, Rosanna Scotto, I think.
Rosanna Scotto and Chuck Scarborough.
No,
or is
I
he a
think
different show?
Greg Kelly, I think.
Okay.
But
all right.
this was like last year, and it was early in the morning, man, and my voice was
Yeah, your
like,
voice isn't loosened up yet.
No, and I was like really worried.
So what was all right, so that's huge. So in your little journey, and it's not a little journey, let's start with Red Bank, you're at a little coffee house.
Yeah.
Next thing you're flying to Nashville, now you're a big deal in Germany. How do you end up on that show? That's the #1 market in the country, the New York market.
Yeah, it's weird. It was one of those Forrest Gump moments. It was
Right.
like,
You have a lot of those.
yeah, I was at dinner in New York.
It's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
I was at dinner in New York, and somebody was sitting next to us, and they borrowed a chair, and they were in PR, and we got to talking.
Okay.
They gave me their card, and she said, I just have a feeling about you. Like she started like looking at
Really?
me. Like it was weird, it was like an intuition type thing.
And where was she placed in the world of PR? And
Pretty
media?
big.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, that's strange. I just gave you a chair. It's fine, and then she
What connected her to your music, though?
she asked me what I did.
Right.
She said, are you an actor or something like that? I said, no.
Right.
And I said, I'm a musician. She goes,
So did your head like kind of do this when she said, "Are you an actor?"
no, not at all. I mean, no.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Where were you? What part of the city were you in?
Gramercy.
Okay. All right.
And it was like, cool, and then she gave me her card, and then I sent her some links, and she said,
All right. So it wasn't like at the restaurant just on vibe,
no.
but the vibe was
the
enough.
vibe was there, and then,
Yeah.
or maybe she had too many drinks, but it was just like one of them things, and, I sent her some stuff, and she liked it, and
And then so
said, how would you like to do this? And I was like, Yeah.
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 Right. Did you say it like that?
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, so how did they introduce you? In other words, what's your
It
street
was a
cred?
single. It was a single.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they went off of, I guess, streams or something on Spotify.
Okay. So you had, enough street cred.
Yeah.
Where it's not like they're saying, all right, Dave Cohen, like suddenly, like, why would anyone put me on? But you had enough street cred at that point.
Well, if they put me on, why wouldn't they do you, Dave? Come on.
All right, I appreciate that.
I mean,
Yeah.
they'll put anybody on.
Because
if
he's
they
a
put me on.
lawyer. But
There's plenty of lawyers on there. Actually, I was in the green room with a lawyer that
Were
was
you?
on before me.
who? There's a guy from Freehold who does a lot of the news shows now. He's a
No,
prosecutor
I don't
there.
remember his name.
Yeah.
Judge Napolitano.
Oh yeah, he was from Jersey.
Yeah, he
He's
was
a
on
Jersey
before
judge.
me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I actually went to one of his seminars many years ago.
Really?
Yeah, he's good. So you play, not the Today Show. What show was it?
Good Day, New York.
Good Day New York. What network was that? I forget.
5, I think.
5.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fox, I think.
Right. So that's huge.
Yeah, it was cool.
So you do that, and that's because you had a single, and you had a lot of street cred.
Yeah.
Was that after you were already charting in Germany
Yes,
and all that?
that was last year.
Okay.
I think last year or the year before. Last year.
All right, so you're getting, I mean, like right now, you've got so many different things going on. Like in Europe, like I couldn't nail you on this show in Europe. Like another, oh, we're not going to do that show. I'm kidding. But like your top 25 is gigantic, and Germany's kind of a big country.
Yeah, but it's like the UK,
Right.
and then there's other countries that we did that kind of like it's moving.
So it dovetails, right?
It's moving a little. So
Right.
hopefully we can keep the momentum going.
So what is?
Listen to music, everybody.
Yeah,
Stream it.
Yeah, and we're going to give you all sorts of promotion.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming here. So you go from Red Bank to Nashville. You tour Europe.
No, I
and-
go to California after that.
Oh, we didn't cover that yet.
Yeah. So this is a weird Forrest Gump moment. So my mom is a psychic.
I knew that from Scott, but let's hear about it.
Yeah. So she was with a client, and the song "Sugar Sugar" came on,
Okay.
and
Who did that song?
the guy
I
from
forgot.
the Archies, Ron Dante.
That's right.
But he was Barry Manilow's producer for Mandy and Copacabana.
Oh, okay.
So my mom's doing a reading for this lady, and Sugar Sugar comes on, and the lady's like, "Yeah, that's my cousin," and my mom's like, "Wow, that's your cousin. My son's a songwriter." So she listens to it, sends it out to him, and then he flies me out.
Wow. And you know what the funny thing is, though? If you don't take it to heart, see, I could actually sabotage your career by making you happy and confident, and then you'll never. write
No,
another-
that'll never happen.
All right,
I'll
good,
never
good.
be truly happy or truly confident.
Good.
There's no harm and no worry there at all.
All right, good. Thank God. So, the fact that you have these people listening to your music and flying you out means your music's good, and it really is.
It's either that or I'm thinking maybe they're slow. Maybe they don't have anything going on.
See, we started with this, right? You try to get funny when it gets a little.
No, but I'm
Yeah.
serious. I thought maybe there's an oversight somewhere. There must be some kind of
No,
mistake.
your stuff's good. Your stuff's really good.
Thank you.
And you're doing something in a very different way from what I always said Bono does. I mean, your stuff's a little more. Actually, you're doing more on there than I think The Edge does. I mean, he has those nice layers and all that.
Yeah, he does a lot of like,
You're right.
and
right.
like, you
right.
know.
Oh, here, I'll do that one. I'll do that one.
You know it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, play it, man.
Yeah, we used to do that song. Here, let's see.
I want to hear this.
I will completely fuck it up
love
like I
it.
did. What did I did? I tried to do Surrender on one of our shows and I completely fucked it up. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucked up the timing there, right? Then you just do that, but it's just two chords.
It's good, man.
Yeah, but it's two chords.
Imagine with effects ran through that.
Oh my God,
It would
that's what
sound
makes them
like
so special.
ethereal.
Yeah. By the way, let's switch. I want you to show us your Martin while we're doing it.
Oh. Do you want to play this?
No, you play it. You play it. You're the guest. Here, give me that. I'll hold this while you get.
You like that guitar, don't you?
Oh, I love it. Can I have it?
It's for sale.
Whoop. Jim warned me not to walk too far with my mic like this.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I'm not in love with it.
No, that thing really, I mean, show us, but it really generates a lot of sound.
It's definitely more organic, this guitar, you know?
No. But that guitar plays easier.
It does, but see, sometimes like,
And this is a Martin.
it is. It's a Martin. This is actually a cheaper one.
Is it?
It's a DM, but you can see I have a lot of wear on it.
This is our second Martin on the show. Maybe our third. We had a graphite Martin. On the show,
Wow,
which was pretty
that's
cool.
like a Rain Song. They have the Rain Song graphite one.
Oh, this is jet black. It was really cool. I forgot who brought it in. And this has higher action.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a pick in there.
Yeah, there's probably several picks in
Oh,
there.
I'm
I can't
very-
get them out.
oh, I'm very good
and there
at
might
that.
be a mouse in there or something. Here you go.
I got one of them. There we go. I got two of them.
All right, and there's
I'm good
a
at getting picks out.
there's a dollop of hash.
There
just
you go.
There you
That'd
go.
be pretty cool.
Is there? No. There.
That's one of your picks. Oh, you got one.
Look, that's a neon pick.
And is this from your company?
Yeah, that was for the Clayton guitar.
Oh, this is a
company.
thin one.
Yeah.
This is nice. This is more if you're doing really heavy rhythm.
Not as good as Pick World, though.
No.
The folks at Clayton, they're okay. But
So you got this in Red Bank, right?
I did. Yep. And I was all prepared to buy a brand new one.
Okay.
So I go in there, and then I saw this on the, hanging up. And I was like, man, that one kind of speaks to me for some reason. So I picked it up.
No, it
and-
plays nice.
Yeah, $500.
Really?
Yeah.
That's shocking to me.
Yep.
That's really shocking. We always talk about this. You got sealed machine heads on
Yep.
I just sort of grabbed your guitar from you.
No, it's no problem.
You've got a little bit of road wear over here going on, which is
Dude,
cool.
this thing's been dropped. It's
Really?
yeah, look at this. It's got a crack. See this?
Oh, wow. That's cool.
But it's, it's
And then
good.
what does this star represent?
All right,
Anything-
so that song I sang, Count the Stars.
Oh, you got one there, too. It's kind of just two. Like, if we count them, there's only two.
Well, yeah, you count them, but
Yeah.
they're, you can actually envision more. It depends on your
One
imagination.
could, I guess, yeah. If the hash came out, yeah.
Yes.
But,
But I was staying in this little place, right? And I wanted to know if I was making the right move, like moving out of where I was living.
right.
And I remember when I shut the lights off at night, these stars were above my head.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So they glowed, so I took them off just to never forget that moment.
Oh, that's a great moment. So this guitar, even this could have been a piece of crap guitar, and that would have meaning. But you
Yeah.
put them on a nice guitar, which is even better.
Yeah, I figured,
Yeah.
it's my guitar, so.
Yeah, why not? I mean, who cares,
Yeah.
right? That's very cool. Now that's a great sounding guitar. So we've got you going again all over the country. You have you in California. So what happened in California?
Oh, wow. So I go out to California and I meet with Ron, and they put me in this like really expensive hotel with a rooftop pool and turkey sausage for breakfast. And
That's what I had for breakfast.
yeah, and I was like, wow, this is fancy. I'm used to like eating ramen.
That's interesting. So from the Panhandle, you're finding turkey sausage to be like the bomb.
Oh, we didn't have turkey in Florida.
Okay.
We ate dirt. So
All right.
we were we were out there.
That's good.
We were out there. Who's got money for food?
All right.
Dirt's perfectly fine.
Rock
Yeah.
soup is good too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's stone
yeah.
soup. So we're out there, and they're taking pictures, and I'm saying to myself, when's the recording gonna start?
Right.
And they're like,
And
oh
like
yeah.
Michael Jackson has a spare bedroom for you.
No, it wasn't like that. But we
Okay.
did go to Ted Perlman's house, and
Why do I know that name?
he was Bob Dylan's guitar player on
Okay.
the road,
Okay.
and he's a producer.
Oh wow.
So they're like, well, I'm gonna pair you with him, and I'm like, cool. And when I was a kid, I used to be like really into Barry Manilow for some reason.
He was wonderful. Yeah.
And I used to look at the album and I saw Ron Dante, and I'd be like, wow, I like his arrangements. And then here I am working with him.
Wow.
But the songs didn't come out like I thought they would.
No.
So I ended up financing my own songs, and then
Really?
they became better. Yeah.
So did anything come out of California?
Yeah, I mean, I had like 3 songs, and then he called me to use one of them
Okay.
for another band he was working with. And I was like,
So,
cool.
so do you sing and perform everything you write, or have you licensed your music to other folks?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
I've had the opportunity to do that with some bands in Europe, but I don't know. I don't want to say I'm picky, but I am.
Right. Right. You think of Stallone, right? He could have let someone else star in Rocky, and look what happened because he
Yeah,
kept it.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, if the right band comes along or the right artist, I would definitely do that.
Right. And do you work with the same studio musicians all the time?
No.
So you're you, and then you're going to go here and there, and they're going to feed you musicians.
Yeah, or I pick them. Like I'll do a research on them and listen to them and see what they've done.
Okay.
And then kind of see if they can capture the vibe.
Do they give you enough latitude?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Totally.
Oh, that's really good.
I worked with John Levine, who did the fight song for Rachel Platten, and
These are both names I don't know. Who's Rachel Platt?
Rachel Platten did fight song. This is my fight song. Take back my last song. You ever hear that song?
If it was written after 1980, I don't know it.
Oh,
okay.
shit. All right. It's a good song.
Okay.
He just did stuff for Avril Lavigne.
I've heard of her. No,
Yeah.
I know who she is. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I did a couple songs. Actually, the new single that's coming out was produced by him, but he did a lot of the instrumentation himself.
Wow.
Just me and him. That's
Really?
it. Just two people
Now,
in a room.
Do you have so you play piano, we know that.
Yeah.
Can you hit a drum kit and at least get by?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah.
Can you get by, or can you do a little more? Like, can you like?
I could hold it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm not super fancy.
You're not doing a double kick and all that.
No, but what I do doesn't really require that.
Right, right. You're looking for your basic backup
Yeah.
rhythm. Will you pick up a bass and do
Yeah.
that on one of your
Yeah,
tracks?
totally.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Because for your style, and I don't mean it in anything but a positive way, you're not looking for slap bass and things like that.
No. I mean, if that is ever needed, I could always hire somebody to do it right.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
you could even just do a fresh track if you're not happy with what you did.
Totally. Or I could do something on the keyboard that sounds cool.
Now, do you have other folks do your harmonies, or do you do harmonize on top of yourself?
I usually do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's funny. I remember in college we had we had the Fostex 4-track.
Yeah?
Yeah, before your time.
That's cool. I've heard of that.
Little cassette, and you'd have to like do.
Dude, I
layer
heard
upon
of that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Actually, those are coming back.
Are they really?
People are using them.
Then
Because
you
they
had-
like the analog sound.
No, the analog sounds good.
It's
That's why.
warm.
Yeah. Then same reason why people like tube amps.
Like, if you listen to like some of the Jim Croce stuff, the warmth on that is just a blanket.
Well, you're right. Yeah, that's
you
a
know?
good way.
It's
yeah.
a blanket, man.
Well, I saw online the other day you could buy a reel-to-reel, like, and they're not that much.
I'd love
$2,000
to do that.
Yeah, like a nice
With a
TI.
good mic.
Yeah, like a nice Shure,
Yep.
an Omni or a Uni.
Neumann or
Yeah.
Just-
Now I remember I was freshman year. I was at Delaware, place that makes your picks, and we played a gig at
maybe you went to school with one of these guys.
maybe.
They're probably way older than you are. I mean, this is like, yeah, that's a big company, I think. I don't know.
Well, I'll be
Pickworld.
40 soon, but
Right on.
no. But we had an Omni. We had one omnidirectional at a live gig, and the sound quality was astounding.
At a live gig. Wow.
Yeah, it came out really good. But
amazing.
no, I think old school.
Like overhead?
Just like in front. No,
That's it?
was
Wow.
nothing. Yeah, it came out really good. But I think a lot of the old stuff. We had a Mesa Boogie on last week with a nice 10-pound magnet on the back.
Love it.
They
Love
don't
it.
make magnets like that.
No,
anymore.
man.
No.
Those are like a thing of the past, but
Yeah.
they definitely have a warmth to them that is very hard to replicate,
Yeah,
you know?
they do. So I want to talk about how people can find you. I think your music's fantastic.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me on. Seriously, man.
This has been fantastic. All right, so what's the main place, the main hub where we're going to
So it
find
would be
you?
brianmackeymusic.com.
Right, and I found it's so easy.
Yeah, it's just,
Now Mackey, Mackey.
yes.
Because I look, I think there's a sports figure or someone with the same name, but that's it. There were only, because that could be a common name.
There's a journalist and
Okay, that's right.
there's a golfer.
Right, and that's all I found. So it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
And I think you were hitting higher than they were when I did the search.
Well, I mean, they're good, but they're
not-
not as
they're not
fucked-
Brian Mackey.
They're not as fucked up as I am.
I was going to say they're not Brian Mackey, but they
Yeah.
are Brian Mackey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's weird when you see somebody else with your name.
Oh,
You're like,
gee, Dave Cohen. You think?
yeah, maybe, right? There's a couple.
I got a call from the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office 20 years ago.
Get out of here.
We have a guy in jail who says he's Dave Cohen.
What?
Yeah, and he ended up in jail because he was impersonating me.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
He said he was a lawyer.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
That's ballsy.
yeah, Dave. That's John Smith. But all right. So we're gonna go Brian Mackey. Is it BrianMackey.com?
BrianMackeyMusic.
BrianMackeyMusic.com. Really important. Your picks. What's the name of it again? Because I have a mental block.
They're from Pickworld.
Pick World. So Pick World. Here
So
we
if
go.
anybody wants to score some cool picks, hit up
Pick World.
They're
Pick World. We're
out
gonna
of
get a nice
Delaware,
tight
and
shot of
they're-
that. There. Oh, look at that. I'm watching the monitor, which Mary tells me not to do.
Yeah,
so we got the monitor.
yeah,
Look at my
and
hand
then
shaking.
that's the front.
There we go. Try to get that focused. Come on, get it focused. You're screwing up, Jamie. So, all right, so we got Pick World. Now, really importantly, do we know what date in August your single's coming out?
Yeah, it's the 23rd.
So August 23rd, your single's coming. What's the name of it again?
Promise Me.
Promise Me. Okay.
It's definitely a different kind of song. I've never made a song like this before.
So give us a little
It's
preview.
definitely more upbeat.
Are you good giving us a little preview?
Well, it's an electronic song.
All right, so we won't do it.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then how will people find it? Just go to your website, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. All right.
Yeah, there's not a stitch of guitar on this song. Right?
Really?
There's electric, but no, like.
Van Halen, Jump, right?
Yeah, but
They walked away from guitar on that song. It was all keyboard.
I know.
So you could do it. You got good predecessors there.
Wow. Look out, Edward.
Edward. Oh, Eddie Van
Van
Halen.
Halen.
Oh my God, that was bad of me. Right. But yeah, but seriously, like he walked away from guitar.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
He was good though. He came up with a
was really
nice
good.
lick there.
And you actually are a piano player, which we learned tonight.
Pretty,
All right.
pretty good, I guess.
All right. Good.
Count the stars in my room, above my bed. They are, and I don't want to let you go. I don't like myself when I'm alone. And all the stars are out tonight. All the stars are ours. If we get lost somewhere in life, the stars will take us home. Lay your head down on me, above our head is a galaxy, and I don't want you to go home. I don't like it here on my own. And all the stars are out tonight. All the stars are ours. If we get lost somewhere in life, the stars will take us home. Is anyone out there know the pain of losing yourself? Yeah. It's hard to get back. You don't know how to act, and I'm feeling lost like never before. And count the stars. Oh, they are ours. Stay with me, play with me tonight. Tonight. Stay with me, play with me tonight.
This was fantastic.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. So we have just completed episode 7 on Guitar Tales. I am thrilled. We're all thrilled to have you here. Riverview Studios has been the most wonderful supporter of the show. What we're going to ask you to do is when you watch our show, we've made a choice. We're streaming every show we have on YouTube please hit the subscriber button. It accomplishes a few things. First of all, it gives you notice every time a fresh episode comes out. And you heard from my little list before, we have 5 shows lined up already. And by the time these 5 shows, look at that crappy handwriting. By the time these are taped, there's going to be 5 or 10 more. We have so many wonderful musicians who are coming on the show. So to help us keep getting this show to you, if you hit the subscribe button, it helps you find out when the show is going to be shown, but it's also going to help us make sure that the show keeps coming out and we get great musicians like Brian Mackey out to chat with you, and you could hear their stories. So we're thrilled to have you. Thanks again to Scott, Guitar Assist Angle, because on my list, which I will show one more time, almost everyone here comes from Scott. He has been tireless, full of energy, and full of enthusiasm in promoting all of our shows, and we really do appreciate it. He's our publicist, he's a wonderful musician, the Smoking Jackets are a fabulous band, and all of that is bringing us together as a family here in Guitar Tales. So we can't wait to see you next time, and thank you again for tuning in. This is Dave Cohen tuning out, and have a great week. Take care.